Hi, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. So today I'm going to be doing a overview and walkthrough of the Ledn platform. So Ledn is part of my kind of crypto passive income kind of series in that it's very similar to a product like BlockFi, and I've done individual videos of BlockFi, Celsius and crypto.com. I'll link those in the description below here. But if you're in the market for a crypto savings account or in the market for a Bitcoin backed loan, Ledn is another provider that you should be taking a look at. And the reason I was drawn to them, one, the simplicity. They only have two products, and B2X, which is really in addition to the kind of Bitcoin backed loans, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But basically you can earn interest on your Bitcoin and USDC cryptocurrencies, and you can also deposit Bitcoin in order to get a USD or stable coin loan at 50% back from that. So it's very simple. They don't have their own token. They don't require you to tie up tokens, get paid out in anything. From that point of view, it works very much like BlockFi. But two of the reasons I really like them are Genesis Capital, so their collaboration with Genesis Capital, and also that they use BitGo as an insured custody. So if you have a Bitcoin backed loan, your Bitcoin all goes to BitGo, which is an insured custody provider. Now they are a sort of bank grade cold storage solution, and what's nice is that you can actually check that your Bitcoin is being held securely on the blockchain. So with some of these providers, they're not quite as transparent, and your Bitcoin could go off to be traded on exchanges or what have you. With Ledn, it all goes to BitGo and their insured custody solution. So I really like that. The other thing I really like is their partnership with Genesis Capital. Now Genesis Capital, if you don't know, you can go and do your own research, but they're probably the world's largest and one of the world's largest and oldest digital asset lending kind of platforms. They only work with large businesses. So you can't work with them as an individual. But if you deposit Bitcoin or USDC with the Ledn platform, only two things can happen with it. It gets lent out for Bitcoin backed loans at 50% ratio, so a decent ratio there, or it goes to Genesis Capital. So they're the only two things that can happen with it. It's not being traded in a kind of dodgy manner. It's not going here, there and everywhere. So they're the two reasons I really like the Ledn platform. Now, talking about the interest rates, let's have a look at the Ledn here compared to BlockFi, Celsius and crypto.com. Now this table is all flexible loans. So Celsius, BlockFi and Ledn all have flexible loan terms. You can put money in, take it out whenever you want. Crypto.com have a flexible loan term, but the payouts are very, very low. Most people will lock up for 3 months, and if you lock up for 3 months, the BTC interest rate goes up to 4.5%, for example. So slightly higher than Ledn and Celsius. Now Ledn and Celsius very, very similar. The outlier here is BlockFi. Now I do have some concerns that this interest rate with BlockFi can't last in the long term. It is only for the first 5 Bitcoin. So if you're a large investor and you have a large number of Bitcoins, it drops down to 3.2% over and above 5 Bitcoin. But you know, from talking to people within the industry, it doesn't seem that this is potentially sustainable in the long term. Either it's been made up for by the lower terms on larger kind of deposits, or they might just be doing it as a loss leader, so actually kind of like costing them kind of like a bit of money in order to get kind of like customers in. In terms of stable coin, 8.6% for BlockFi and Celsius, basically the same, 7.5% for Ledn, so a little bit less for that. Crypto.com 6%, substantially lower, but again these are flexible terms. So in terms of rates, they are, I'd say, sort of like standard and comparable with most in the market, particularly on kind of Bitcoin, which I think is what most people will be looking at them for, but also USDC a little bit lower than BlockFi and Celsius. But if you are looking to spread your risk, particularly after the kind of hack with BlockFi, and it's certainly something I've been looking at, is spreading my kind of risk by tying up some crypto with different providers, and this is one that I feel quite secure in doing that with. So now what I'm going to do is pause the video very briefly, and I'm just going to log it into the account. Now the sign up process is pretty straightforward. If you click join, you just basically put in your names, you have to put in your kind of like real name, you put in an email address and then your mobile number. That gets invalidated, and then as a temporary measure, your mobile number gets authenticated as your two-factor authentication. Now, as soon as you've logged into your account, I would recommend switching that over to an app-based authentication. So I'm just going to log in now, and then we'll jump back. So I've just logged into the platform. Now, when you first sign up, before you deposit any cryptocurrency, you'll have a couple of links here. One to KYC, so you have to perform KYC, and the other one is a link to the security. You can also get to it under this link here, but make sure you switch off your SMS authentication as a two-factor. Now, it enables it by default when you first sign up because you need a mobile number in order to sign up, but then as soon as you've done that, I recommend using sort of like Google two-factor authentication via your mobile phone. So make sure you switch that over for the sake of security. So that's the one thing I'd say. KYC didn't take too long. I filled in my details in the morning UK time, and now Ledn are based in Canada. They're based in Toronto, and so early kind of like Canadian time it was approved, so it took about 4 or 5 hours. Obviously there's a little bit of a different time zone, but they were quite prompt at carrying out the kind of KYC. Now, what I would say with all of these kind of platforms is that before you actually deposit crypto in any kind of like form, always carry out the KYC. Now, as with all these platforms, there are various sort of kind of caveats and various restrictions in place. So if we look at the Bitcoin savings account, if we go to deposit something, you'll see here that it's not available to residents of New York, Connecticut, Washington and Wyoming. And if you're actually depositing USDC, it's actually a few more states. So that is New York, Connecticut, Washington, Texas, Hawaii and Wyoming, and there are accepted countries, so North Korea, Iran, Libya and Syria for that as well. So so there are no issues or anything like that. I always recommend you carry out your kind of KYC. What you don't want to do with any platform, this isn't specific to Ledn, is to deposit kind of like your Bitcoin and then suddenly work out it's not available, or you know the interest account isn't available in your state, and then have some kind of issue with kind of KYC trying to get it out. So always conduct your KYC before you deposit anything. But here's the two products, so savings account and loans. It's very, very straightforward. Say for example we want to deposit Bitcoin, click here and you can see here these are my two deposits. So I did my first one on the 5th of June and my second one on the 16th of June. So just press deposit. Copy your Bitcoin address over. As soon as there is one confirmation on the blockchain, it shows up. They send you an email pretty much straight away, and then 10 minutes later or so it shows up in your account. And you can see here the interest so far accumulated in June is just showing up here. So it's a very simple kind of process. You get your interest paid out on the 1st of the month, so it's a monthly payout of interest, and it's compounding up each month. So every time so whenever your interest goes in, next month we'll have 1.00 whatever it is, and then we'll earn interest on that. So it will compound up over time for both Bitcoin and USDC savings. Now, in terms of the loans, very simple. If we wanted, for example, a dollar loan, we can click this and you can actually choose to receive your funds in US dollars as well as DAI, which is a stable coin. If you choose to receive it in US dollars, you have to fill in all your bank details. If you choose to receive in DAI, you just have to put in your address for that. But as you can see, because we've deposited some crypto here, there's some quick links where you can get a loan or a B2X loan. So because we've deposited 1 Bitcoin in total, we can get a loan for half of that. So we can click there and it will go straight through and pre-populate it. And then the other one is a B2X. So this is it's still a loan, but it's slightly different, and it allows you to double your Bitcoin. So let's click on this link here. So for example, we have 1 Bitcoin in our account. Now, if we're very bullish over the next, say, year, and we think Bitcoin is going to double in price or triple in price or whatever, what we can do is choose to double our exposure to Bitcoin. So what we do is that they will give you a loan, basically to allow you to buy an additional Bitcoin. So you deposit 1 Bitcoin, they lend you the USDC dollars, but instead of actually sending it to you, they then purchase an additional Bitcoin on your behalf that goes into your loan account. So your final wallet balance is two. You have the one that you've transferred and the one that they've purchased on your behalf. You then pay 1% monthly interest rates and a 2% administration fee for that loan. And these are yearly loans. And then, you know, if the price of Bitcoin has gone up, you've been exposed to that kind of like additional kind of collateral. Now, in some cases, if the price of Bitcoin goes up, you could work out far better doing this than actually using the interest account. However, obviously there's more risk as well. If the price of Bitcoin goes down at the end of this loan period, you still have to settle your loan in US dollars. Now, the nice thing is you don't have to settle it in Bitcoin at the end of it. You can settle it in US dollars, and that I believe relates to both the monthly interest fees as well as the administration fee you can pay in US dollars rather than kind of Bitcoin if you want to keep all your exposure in kind of Bitcoin. So it's an additional function that basically stops people having to take out a dollar loan, buy Bitcoin, redeposit it, take out another dollar loan. So they've just streamlined that process. So they're the two main functions you can have with Ledn, savings accounts and loans. It is very simple. They only have Bitcoin in USDC in terms of the savings account. So that's less than pretty much all the other mainstream providers. BlockFi is probably the next most kind of constricted, and then Celsius and crypto.com, lots of different altcoins they accept and stuff like that as well. But that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions. I have reached out to Ledn as well as BlockFi, Celsius Network and crypto.com. I'm in the process of doing this, and I'm hoping to get somebody from each company on the channel talking about the kind of products and services, hopefully talking a little bit more about security and stuff like that. So Ledn seemed quite open to the idea, so I'm hoping maybe in a few weeks, at the end of June or beginning of July, might be able to get someone from Ledn on to talk a little bit more about their services. And as I mentioned, I'm reaching out to the other providers as well, hopefully to do the same. If you are interested in checking them out, I do have a link below in the description. It is an affiliate link. If you sign up, I believe you take a loan product, they give you an additional 250,000 Satoshis, something like that. So there is a small incentive for sign up with my link. Not huge, but every little helps, I'm sure. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. As always, if you have questions, please let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or in worst case scenario, I will hopefully be able to put them to somebody from Ledn, hopefully in a few weeks when they jump onto the channel with me. Anyway, thanks for watching again. Have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.